one of the things as well that I'm quite interested in is kind of creating habits and, how we can develop a habit, whatever it is, because so many people have spoken to, it's like, well, yeah, all of this stuff is good, but how do we find the time to do it? Find the time to go and see horses regularly, or find the time to do something that, I mean, is there something that you can do that takes this energy that isn't being in the paddock with them? I don't know, but like, how can we develop a positive habit from the work that you do?
Again, I think that once you've experienced it, you're drawn back to it. And that's what gives you thrive. Once you've experienced it, you thrive to experience it more.
Mm.
And that causes you to make that time for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends who work full-time 50-hour-a-week jobs, and they'll have a horse, and they might go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning and not come home until 5 o'clock at night. In the winter, they never see daylight, but they still go and ride their horse before work, and they still go and muck their horse out and ride it after work, because that time and that energy, even though that's a completely different living situation, they still get that connection with the horse to a degree, and they thrive for more of it. Like, they might cook their Sunday lunch and think, I'm bored, you know what? I need to go and see my horse. Or I'm feeling a bit down today. You know what? I need to go and see my horse. And you're pulled to it.
So almost like it changes your priorities.
Yeah. And it's not about prioritizing the horse. It's about prioritizing that feel good, that serotonin, those endorphin releases that you get from being with them. So it's about prioritizing you. It's about prioritizing your self-care and the horse being a part of it.
I think you've hit on something really important there. It's about prioritizing your self-care. And I speak to so many people who find that impossible. Like,
I'm one of the biggest stressy, worrying, like, I live with mental health, have done since I was a young teen. Um, and I stress over everything. And yet, whenever I talk to someone about what we do, they go, that's why you're smiling all the time. I'm like, do I smile all the time? I don't feel like I smile all the time. That's why you always look so flush and so happy. Do I look happy all the time? And yeah, I do, because I'm so lucky that I spend 8 hours a day with these guys. It's like, how could I not be happy when I'm getting all of that positivity 8 hours every day of the week?
amazing. So how would people find out more about your specific organization and what you do?
So we have a website and we're on social media. We're called Randoms Retreat. I'm pretty certain you Google search us and when we're kind of on that first page. So I'm very, very impressed with that. um, yeah, all word of mouth and social media. I do know I need to be widening that, but for now, that kind of does us. We're a very small facility. We don't have any kind of road signs or anything like that, but we have lots of information telling those who need us or are drawn to us how they can come and be with us. And it's a community, yeah. Everybody who comes to us get together and join each other and meet other families and other people who think and have the same mindset.
Brilliant. And whereabouts are you based?
We're based in Medhamsley in Consett, that's County Durham, but we're actually just on the border at the gates at Newcastle. So we're literally 25 minutes from all three of the big cities.
Brilliant. And so any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to share with the viewers?
Just if you haven't tried it, if you haven't been, I'm not the only facility that does this. I think I am the only one who does it the way I do it. Um, but yeah, if you've never spent time with a horse, go have a go have a chat with the local facility to you. Give me a message. We do free meet and greets, so you can actually come and spend time with our horses without it costing you a penny. Um, and just see what positivity you can take away from it, because even the happiest people could gain more positivity from being around horses.
Sounds good. So you said there about, obviously you're not the only facility, but we were chatting earlier, weren't we, about how there's not a huge amount of understanding in the Northeast. What would you say about, the difference between the Northeast and myself, I'm from the Northwest, I think it's probably quite similar. What's the difference between that and London, for instance?
Well, I'm quite a local girl, local country girl who pretty much never goes anywhere. um, Organisation business wise, I know from what I hear on the grapevine and from other organisations I do work with digitally, that yeah, you kind of down south, it seems to be more accepted. It seems to be more understood. Um, but again, it's quite different to how I do it. It's quite a almost a riding school type establishments that work with equine therapy. Um, and you do, I think within 50 mile of me, so the northeast, you've probably got 4 equine therapy
Oh,
facilities that are known of. There are some smaller ones that, like me, would be harder to find. But there's 4 big ones. But again, they're horses that live a very traditional feedback that you get from those horses would be very different to the feedback that you get from mine. You still do get an amazing connection. You get an amazing experience. But when you allow an animal to live naturally, it's different. I can't word it any other way. What you're getting is real. It's not a learned behavior. It's not operational constraints. It's not humanized. It's not, I have told these horses they have to do this with you.
hmm.
What you're getting is real feedback.
Amazing.
Whereas when you go to a riding school or an establishment that's stabled and arenaed and very, very complex and controlled, then that animal is very complex and controlled as well.
I can hear crying 2 seconds. A dummy fell out of my mouth.
Oh.
If only life was so simple.
Yeah, straight back in. Don't even open their eyes. I've got 2 granddaughters, 5-month-old and 2.5. So we do that on weekends.
Yeah. So, anything else? That's pretty much everything I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Anything that I should have asked that you'd like to cover?
No, I think we've covered everything. I think if someone hears, because listening and hearing are different, aren't they? You can listen to something without hearing it.
Yeah.
If someone hears what we've been talking about, then yeah, they would want to experience it.
And have you had anyone who's kind of poo-pooed what you do, who has kind of gone a bit like, that's a bit weird, or do people get it?
No, I think a lot of people don't get it. Um, I think a lot of my close friends, work colleagues, have listened to me talk for so many hours over the years that they've been brainwashed. um, but yeah, I think a lot of people don't get it. It's kind of like reading a book. You can tell somebody what the story is over and over again, but until they read it and experience it themselves, they won't believe it.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Thank
Well,
you very
thank
much.
you. Thank you very much. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk with you today, Mandy.